Okay. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for watching the Sashiko Live. I'm sorry, not a live, Sashiko Talk number 7. Wow, has been 2 months since. I hope this is on. Let me check the voice. Hello, everybody. Thank you.
I hear you.
Sashiko Live. I'm sorry, not a live, Sashiko Talk. Okay, I think it's good on the Zoom as well. Perfect. Thank you so much to coming. As always, Sharon, thank you so much for being the guest. Thank you so much for the conversation. Thank you so much for being the conversation partner. It's very good to have the partner to talk about. And that's the Sakura going to sleep soon, I guess. And we have a Melissa today. If she has any questions, she's going to join with the audio so we can enjoy stitching while talking about Sashiko. If you have any questions, please leave the comment. I may be able to answer the questions as well. Okay, I think everything is ready. Hello, Shellen, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, thank you. I cannot believe this is the 7th one. We
Time
do
is-
it. Huh?
Time flies.
Yes,
This is the big highlight of our social life.
it is.
Well,
Well, same
in
here.
COVID.
I don't see anybody. I'm flying for the first time in 16 months.
Where are you going to go?
Florida next month.
Oh, that's right. You're doing a workshop down there. That's great.
Yep, the first workshop since February 2020.
And it sounds like you're doing one in England too.
No. Am I? It's online. It's online.
Oh, it's online. Okay.
I don't think I'm going to fly internationally at this moment yet.
I was a little surprised. But
Well,
yeah, the online makes sense.
I
And
wish
then
I
they
could.
can be anywhere.
Yep. I really wish I could go there, but that's a different story. Okay. I will do some Sashiko stuff to those people. Yeah. Okay. It's always difficult to set it up. And now we can relax and do this. Okay. It was kind of a surprise. Like we had I'm sorry, let me put it this way. I just got off from the very great Sashiko lecture by Miss Wada sensei. I was kind of surprised that she used a lot of my photos and videos. I didn't really expect her to use it that much. It was really nice of her. She's, if you do shibori, you should know her. She is very much the pioneer in that field. So it was an honor.
Yeah.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
She's had several series of talks this year that have been fascinating about different aspects of textile art and dyeing, and not so much on stitching. This is the first one on stitching. So, but yeah, she's quite a scholar.
She is a very good scholar, and she's probably like the first one who tried to translate or introduce the Japanese craft in English. So shibori became shibori because of her, I think. That's a pretty big deal. I mean,
yeah,
it could be anything, but now thanks to her, shibori became shibori, and she published the book. I mean, she's super energetic. I so much respect her for that. She's doing a PhD right now, I guess.
Oh, really?
Yep.
That's neat.
That's neat. And I always use I'm too old for the PhD and stuff like that.
That's what I think.
She doesn't give me that excuse.
That's interesting. No. Well, before the talk started, I was like, I think that's that piece by your mother. That's really interesting. And I didn't realize you were going to be a part of the talk. So it was great.
Me neither. She said she may use it. But
then she had you talked as well.
Yeah, she asked me to film a video, but she said she will edit it.
Oh,
That's why I was reading all the script, not talking to the camera. I didn't expect her to use it as is, but it's good. It's really nice of her to introduce us. It is really nice to be. We're very small.
I think she's right that what you guys make is equivalent to those wonderful old ones. There aren't as many of them now, because the firemen have other options and things, but so it fits right in with the other things, the historic things she's presenting, which is really wonderful.
And you'll be one of those soon. I mean, you are actually one of those. Sharon, you are one of those. One of the great Sashiko artisans.
Oh no.
No. But we make those things. That's the biggest difference. I made that post today. What is the authenticity? Authenticity. I really don't know what the authentic Sashiko is. In fact, probably there's no such a thing as authentic Sashiko.
There's probably many, but I think it being part of something that has a purpose and a use that somebody does something with, to me, that just feels better. I guess I wouldn't say the other isn't Sashiko, but it's more satisfying when it's something that will be worn or used, or that there's a reason for the fabric to be stronger.
Right. Yep. So we can, there's a many not a qualification, criteria, like a bullet point to make it Sashiko. And I wouldn't say it's not Sashiko by not following those. But one thing I can say is that there's a big difference between sort of the authenticity and fake, is that if the person who is introducing Sashiko is stitching or not. That's a very big difference, and I can tell. It's scary, kind of, but people share Sashiko without stitching, and there's nothing wrong with that.
So it's just a technique. Well, yes, I can think of some people who do mending, which if you look at their final thing, you might think that it was Sashiko, but the way they put the needle through the fabric, slow stitching would be much more accurate, because it's up and then down and then pull and then up and pull, and it's so slow, and it's yeah. It serves a purpose. It does the mending, but it is a different
kind
process, a different process.
It's not a good or bad. I mean, Sashiko is not the mending per se, for that matter.
Right.
So, but there are actually people who doesn't probably know how to stitch yet to kind of share what Sashiko is, because Sashiko makes money. Before the trend, it was very rare to have those people. I was one of those. That's why I can say it. I was one of those who didn't stitch at all, but who was looking at the numbers and my family business. So I was selling Sashiko. Instead of stitching, I was looking at numbers. So my Sashiko was not authentic back then, although I'm Japanese. I don't think that was the authentic back then. But
didn't you do years of it when you were young, though, even when you didn't like it?
I did it. So that's why I can do it now after so many. But when I was kind of selling Sashiko as the commodity, I don't think I couldn't be a good teacher, for that matter, because I wasn't stitching. So that's probably one clear boundaries I might define as authenticity. And for that matter, my mother is a good example, because she's making something incredible. So I have to be like her one day.
Well, and I think the scale of the projects you guys take on is big. Whether it's combining the stitching from the different people, or she's doing all the stitching on some of those jackets, they're really something.
But it's not that big. I mean, you can probably imagine that it's not impossible to do it.
No,
if you have like 24 hours. If you have
a jacket? No, that's more than that.
Well, but
I-
like think about it. That big furoshiki fabric.
Yeah.
You probably don't need 2 weeks to complete it,
No, if I wanted to, I could complete that in a week. Yes.
right? So
Yes.
if you completed 6 of those, it's gonna be 1 jacket.
Yes.
So it's a month. See, technically
Yeah,
speaking,
you're
it's a
right.
month. So
But that's still big scale.
wow, yeah,
It could be done. It could be done.
it could be done.
To me, the part that I don't have enough confidence in is the actual pattern and putting the jacket together. That's what I need to learn.
That's a different story.
Yeah, that's a different story.
That's something I don't do.
I'd probably rather clip ends of threads.
Yep.
Does your mom put them together, or does she have somebody to do that part for her?
That's her specialty. She can put everything together. That's her.
That's amazing.
That's her talent. So her Sashiko itself is she's good, but if it's not a competition, but I can be better than her in terms of Sashiko itself.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see that I can be like her in terms of Sashiko, but putting things together like that, nah, I don't know. It requires a lot of talent. But yeah, so I'm very spoiled. I probably shared that last time, but since I was born in the Sashiko family, I didn't have to do anything but Sashiko. So I didn't know how to transfer the fabric. We had those artisans.
Had to learn all this so you could teach us who don't have the workers to do it.
Yeah, but I was seeing it every day, so
Yeah.
it's not that difficult to recreate. But there's a big difference between looking at it. So I cannot make a very nice bag. Well, I can use the sewing machine, but I'm not as good as the other seamstress or.
I don't like to use the sewing machine.
I don't mind, but I'm not that good.
Yeah. I'd rather just do it by hand and do French seams so there's nothing sticking out. And it's just as strong.
Same here. So that's it's so interesting. But her point was very. Did you feel that I kind of talked to her about the presentation before her talk? I'm talking about the Wada sensei's, like Miss Wada's presentation.
Yes.
You thought that we kind of.
Yeah. Well, I thought that maybe her comments about what Sashiko means was interesting because it wasn't the little stabs that we usually hear.
Mm-hmm.
I think what she said made more sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. We had no meeting whatsoever. We haven't talked since the Salvage magazine little talk.
Huh.
She asked me the little videos and photos, and that's about it. The contents of her presentation, like hour-long presentation, I didn't know what she was gonna talk.
Well, that worked really well then, considering that. That's amazing.
So it was very good to hear another people's voice that I'm not hallucinating.
Mm-hmm.
Like that. It's easy for me to say that Sashiko is not only the little stabs,
right?
But it can be, nobody can kind of, since not many people can read Japanese, and since not many Japanese people can express their feeling in English, there's always a little, lost
Confusion.
in translation.
Yeah. Well, and the little stabs isn't so much, but at one point it was this stabbing children, and I'm like, that's just awful.
Yeah, but the things I cannot say a loud voice is that I may be the one who translated as little stuff. Into that 1998 or between 1995 to 1998, I may have translated that.
Well, it got spread far and wide then.
Like somebody may have translated before that,
Yeah.
But I clearly remember that translating some of my family business's pamphlet, like a brochure,
Mm-hmm.
and my brochure says it's a little stab. So, I was in high school, middle school. So please, I may have copied it from some of the book or article, or there was no Google, so I may have used just the dictionary on the paper.
Right.
Let's see. Oh, they're from the Caroline. Hi, Atsushi and Sharon. Sorry I didn't officially join today. I'm watching while doing a few other things today. Thank you so much, Caroline. Anytime. Just join anytime you can. And if you cannot, that's perfectly fine too. No pressure. Hello, from Shelly. Hello, I just found your channel a few days ago. I find your stories fascinating and your art beautiful. Thank you so much. Please keep enjoying those stories. I have so many. Oh, can I tell you something very interesting? It might be interesting for you. So from again, Yoshiko does her great presentation. Did you catch that the Japanese government were collecting rice as the tax?
Yes.
Do you know why?
Because they had no money, I think.
No, they had money. They had coins.
Oh, okay. No. I mean, the people they were getting it from didn't have money. They only had food. They had rice. But why were they collecting rice as tax?
That's so interesting, right? Like, what was our kind of big confusion to me? Why did they collect rice? The reason that they collected rice is that they will expire. So in the capitalism, the richer get richer, right? The rich get richer. Right. That's because the money is always there. But if it's rice, they have to eat it no matter what. It's going to be waste.
So they have to eat it.
Or they have to use it.
To store more, in fact, or something. Yeah. Huh.
Yeah. So imagine that the government collect money is sort of like a coupon.
Yeah.
And that's going to stimulate the economy because they have to use it. That's kind of smart.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to pay tax with, fries or something, but that's very, when I find out, that's very smart way. But at the same time, you're right. The Japanese people are very poor to pay in some coins or money. So, that's a very old.
I also thought it was neat when she showed the map of where all the snow was, because it's a lot more than just Hokkaido.
Right. Oh, by the way, if you're interested in the lecture we're talking about, please go to I will try to paste the link. I think they offer the archives. It's the talk by Yoshiko Wada sensei. She's very well known, kind of like a pioneer in the shibori, Japanese dyeing, tie-dye. And I believe that the archive is available. It was very good lecture, series of lecture from her. And we are doing Sashiko, so it's it's not exactly the same, but it's very good to learn from the actual Japanese. What are you stitching, by the way, today? I didn't really catch it today.
This is going to be a bag. I'm doing mishmash of things. This is some hamang fabric, and so it stitches like your lovely indigo cotton. It's got a little bit of a loose weave, and then I've got it on an old,
that's a
very old linen towel. So both things are lovely to stitch on. And then I've got, this is even more crazy. I'm making it a Victorian secret pocket out of vintage linens that I dyed, and then I Sashiko stitched them. So it's just a mishmash of every possible culture.
I like it.
It's gonna be neat. It'll have a slit here that you can put your hand in, and then I'm gonna put this binding on the sides of the slit and have this little flap at the top to hold the top together, and it'll be fun.
It's so amazing that you have a different project every time you're on live streaming.
I have a busy mind.
That's awesome. See, that's what I'm saying. It's not that difficult to complete that big of the. Wow. how can I explain that? If speed is not important in Sashiko, but at the same time, being slow is not really ideal in Sashiko too, because it is good. It is okay to be slow, but I don't want them to be okay with being slow. Does it make sense?
Yeah, because if you're doing it, you will get better and you will not be slow. Your speed will increase some if you're concentrating on the rhythm instead of the stitches. And you don't want them to be slow and be concentrating on each stitch. That's the reason.
If you're fast, you can stitch more.
Well, yes, you can make more projects. That's fun.
Yep, that's the whole point of... I'm making a little tiny
patch.
Yep, since I'm going to the workshop.
Oh, is it an example for the workshop?
Kind of.
When do you go to the workshop? Is that soon?
2 weeks from now.
Oh, that would be nice to go to Florida. It'll be warm, but not hot.
Yeah, without mask. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know.
You've had your vaccine?
The first one, yes. That should be okay. I'll be careful.
Yeah. I think some people, I would guess that the people that come to your workshop probably will wear masks if you want them to.
Oh yeah. It's part of the kind of agreement. So they will respect it. So that's gonna be fine.
Yeah. You probably don't want to go to the beach in Miami. They will not be wearing masks.
That's something I cannot expect. I mean, I live in a place where people don't wear masks, so.
Oh, okay. I live in a place where they do.
Oh, okay. There was a kind of like, how do you say that? Carnival, moving carnival.
Mm-hmm.
There was a carnival 2 weeks ago in the Walmart parking lot, and there was a big discussion if they should wear the mask or not outside. That makes sense. I mean, they got a vaccination.
They are apart from each other, maybe not, but I suspect you would have crowds.
Well,
I don't wear them when I walk my dog, but I don't get near anybody.
So it's COVID is there. Let's see. I'll be careful. Hello, I'm from Mexico. Thank you so much for watching from Mexico. It is all over the world. I really wish to have somebody who can translate yet understand Japanese culture. I know I'm asking a lot. I am asking a lot, but I am looking for somebody who can. To be honest, I don't want to have a translator. I want to have somebody who can speak on behalf of me. Mm-hmm. Is it too much to ask, do you think?
In Spanish, is that what you're looking for now?
In different language.
Or many other countries, yeah. I hear that Google that YouTube has like automatic subtitles in other languages, but you have no idea what they say unless you speak the language. They could be pretty amusing.
Wow. Well, the Google Translate or those machine translate is pretty good. So if it's the matter of just translating, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But I think my word cannot be translated that without the cultural context. It's kind of
no. I agree. Actually, to be most meaningful, you need the cultural, because a lot of what you're talking about is the cultural differences. So you would need to have awareness of the culture you're translating into.
Right. So I have a good candidate, my wife, for the Hebrew and Russian.
Good.
But she's very biased, She might not like what I say. So it's not gonna be, she's very qualified to translate on behalf of me as a Japanese and somebody who understands different culture. But the outcome might not be as accurate as I want it to be. So, but one day, I kind of thought that it was impossible to have somebody like that, but the article from Long Thread, no, the Piecework magazine.
Piecework. Wow, that was so good.
You know, there is genius. There are genius people, so I need just to find them. I couldn't believe that article when they returned it to me.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't really change anything. They changed a lot of grammatical mistake, but they didn't change the meaning. I didn't know how they did it.
And they didn't change the tone. No, I could tell it was you. Yeah, it was good.
How can they do that? Do you see the
They
logic?
are skilled editors. They are skilled.
So they are.
And they
possible.
wanted your character to still show. They didn't want to create a vanilla article. They wanted it to be uniquely yours, which is showing respect, which is good. You know, it's showing respect to the artist and the writer. I don't think that would always be true with all magazines.
It's the first time. It's like, it doesn't happen even in Japanese. I write things in Japanese. I don't like media much because they write what they want to write instead of what I say.
Yeah.
So in Japanese, even in Japanese, I don't contribute much. I don't write contribution unless I have a, pretty good power. Not a power, good control. Go ahead.
When I went to visit Japan with my family, in Tokyo, the first time I went, all the signs were still in Japanese kanji and couldn't read it. I couldn't read it. Then the last few times I've gone, there are English translations and there are English letters where they write out the name of places. So you can get around pretty well in Tokyo. Mm-hmm. But one of the things that's funny is there are little signs telling you what you can and can't do in all these places. And the English is often very odd. and it makes sense because anybody who had the ability in English to correct the English would have such low stature in the society that if they corrected somebody's English, they would be fired. So the signs can be really funny. You can figure out what they mean, but they're not the way we would say it. It's just, but of course, if we had Japanese signs, we don't even have them. We're like Japan was long ago, right? Too bad for you. But yeah, it was really interesting. It was like, yeah, but culturally, how would you fix this problem? You can't.
Yeah, it goes to the like some T-shirt or something in Japan too. Like, people wearing the T-shirt saying I'm something that I shouldn't even say in the YouTube video.
Right. But because it's a foreign language, it doesn't have any emotional
right. And super dry or something. Language is so interesting. And again, like English is a very difficult language, as I keep saying. Like what? Like probably this you've heard this. It's not even a joke. It's my experience, but you've probably heard this one. But why do they have to put the two words by completely different meaning, but very similar? For example, election.
Yes.
Why do you have to use RR to make it different?
Well, that wouldn't. Yeah. I don't know. Who made up these words?
I don't know. Please, please go back to the past and change it. For the Japanese who cannot differentiate L and R very well, I didn't know how to differentiate. I said it different. The R sound in the presentation that everybody has to stand up in the election. And everybody's like, what?
Well, also, when I lived in France, I went to the pharmacy in French and said, what I tried to say was I wanted a pregnancy test, but what I said was I wanted a test to see if I was enchanted. So it happens to everybody in other languages. Mine was not as unfortunate as yours, but they laughed.
It's Well, it's everybody go through this. My mom even went through that too. I asked my mom when she came to the US for the first time. I asked her to, taught her some English. Like, can I sit here? Can I do this? Can I have small things? And she found out some 4-letter word that she shouldn't be using, but she kind of still using that word. Is that okay to use? And I said, no, please don't use it. She likes movies. She really liked back then, not Netflix, but some like TV shows. So she kept asking those 4-letter words, and I explained that she shouldn't use it, but she mixed it up. And in the airplane, we had a different seat. We had 2 aisles. I was sitting one aisle, she was sitting the other aisle. Like the aisle is between us, right? So she had to sit down next to another. I think he was American, but she said, instead of "Can I sit here?" she said, "Can I SHIT here?" And no, Mom, you can't. I mean,
it's just too easy. She
like,
didn't mean to, though. When I learned another language, I tried not to learn the swear words because they're just too easy to say. They don't mean anything to you. Your heart doesn't go, wait a minute, that's a bad word.
Well, it took very long time for me to correct it because my textbook was the South Park.
Oh, you have good, colorful language then.
Yep.
Probably matters less at your age, but I don't know.
First phrase I learned was "they took my job." So like, well, that's not a good way to learn it. So English is language anarchy. I have to define anarchy again, but anarchy, really? Thank you so much for the comment, by the way. English is language anarchy. I don't know. Since the English is not my first language, I don't know if that's true.
I think it's somewhat true. I think it's because it reflects Romantic languages and Nordic languages and Germanic languages and Latin. There's so many all mixed in together that it doesn't make much sense.
Anarchy language. That'd be great if you could elaborate, Barbara. Thank you. The job. It is very, the language is very different and interesting. And it is, this is my intention to say that in order to enjoy Sashiko, one has to master Japanese. And they don't even have to try to learn the Japanese. But it is very important to learn that there is a little bit of connection in between those language and practice. Sorry, I'm sneezing like crazy. Just a second, I'm sorry, I'm gonna just go off. Some tissue. Just give me 2 seconds, okay? Sorry. Haha.
So is that just an example patch?
Yes, or you may probably realize what it is.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so let's stop it there.
It's where it strains your brain the first time you have to try to figure out what order to do those lines in. Now it's just second nature. But
it's what we call it experience.
Yes.
But yeah, I will have a lot of, not a lot, but the first workshop in 18 months. 16 months. I'm sorry, 16 months.
That's exciting.
I cannot believe.
Because the last one was the one in Texas, right? In February?
Yes.
Yeah.
I cannot believe it. I don't know if I can do it, but well, I should be able to do it. But nervous, very nervous. Wow.
Are you nervous actually about teaching the workshop or just about being around that many people for the first time?
Oh, the workshop. I always get nervous.
Oh, I'm surprised.
Why?
Because you're the best at this. You're teaching people that don't know what they're doing.
Sharon, I'll surprise you when we meet actually in person. I'm pretty shy. I might not talk as much. I'm
Really?
quite people come to the workshop and people find me that I'm kind of upset because I don't really talk to them I just can't. I wouldn't say shy.
So the fact that you can talk when you're kind of alone and stitching does not mean that you want to be in a group of people talking. Yeah. Interesting.
Well, of course, after several hours or several 10 minutes or 20 minutes, I get, I'm okay.
Feel pretty comfortable. Yeah.
But I'm not those people. I really wish that I could be, but those people who can't talk to anybody without nothing, just, jump to the discussion or, chit chat. I'm not
that way either. But do you think that if we were that way, we could learn to stitch very well? I don't think we'd be sitting still long enough to do it.
Maybe so. My mom sometimes said that she loves fabric more than people. Mom, that's a little too much, Please like people too. Liking fabric more than people is a little too. I respect that, and I'm happy that she has something they're passionate about. But liking fabric more than people is a little bit scary as a son.
You take that personally?
Yes, as the Sashiko artist, that sounds great. I mean, I wanna advertise her as the great Sashiko artisans, but as a son,
that's funny.
She sometimes really talked to the fabric. When I was a child, I thought my mother was a, how can I say? I don't want to say crazy person, but a little bit off. It was very scary. There was a question. I'm stitching ocean waves right now and struggling with the curves. Curves are very difficult. Yeah.
I did some recently, and the curves are difficult. And then the fact that you're constantly having to decide, okay, where do I go next? Because the lines don't actually connect very well. That's what I found the most frustrating. It's like, okay, do I jump? Do I not? Do I, asanoha? Or what do I do here? How do I get to the next thing? The kasana. Yeah.
You have to kind of plan it before you do it.
Well, you would need to do more than I've done than to have a plan.
Without plan, you'll probably lose the way.
Yes.
But yeah,
when you do it, do you do like each little clump of waves and then go to the next one? Or do you do as much of a line as you can, like the top edge all the way across? What's your plan?
As always, it depends on the fabric. That's the curves requires more stitching with more bias. So depends on the fabric. It requires different direction, different order. The comment, Sharon, could you please share your work? So I will put on the speakerphone so you can show them that again. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Please go ahead.
Yeah. This is it's a piece of hmong fabric, and it's on a vintage Eastern European towel that's made of linen. And then the other thing that I was just finishing up at the beginning was I'm going to make a Victorian pocket out of vintage linens that I indigo dyed, Shibori indigo dyed, and then it has a channel here that you can put a strap through, so you could wear it on a little belt, or you can make it like a crossbody bag. I don't know if I'll ever use it, but I just wanted to experiment with this. A bunch of people are doing these Victorian pockets right now. So I did it with the materials that I had.
Is it your dye? Did you dye it?
Yeah, I did.
Wow.
It's fun. I'm going to, once the weather's warmer, I'm going to do one of those 1, 2, 3, the indigo iron vats. And I'm looking forward to that because you get a lot darker color.
Yes. It does.
Quicker. Yes. But winter has to be gone before that makes any sense here. So
is it going to be like a Skumo natural dye or just indigo? It's going to be stinky,
the natural dye. No. Oh, I don't think so. I've already got the indigo powder. It doesn't smell.
Okay.
I don't think the iron ones smell even as much as the fermented indigo. So I haven't heard that that's a problem. I know what you're saying. The actual.
To be honest, there's a lot of stories about it too. It's kind of dangerous to define that indigo dye is stinky.
Interesting.
It is probably very dangerous to kind of determine that. I really have to look into that before I even make a statement.
I know that Kakishibu, there's 2 kinds. There's one that smells very pungent, and there's another one that is not as bad, not bad at all. I have some of that. I don't have the more authentic one because I think I would be asked to move out if I ever opened it.
Yeah.
But I don't think, I haven't found indigo to have a bad smell at all. I don't know.
Yeah.
It must when it's actually composting. I would think it would have some odor, but I buy it way after that part of the process. So
yeah, it's even like that's kind of the authenticity, going back to that topic, but even the authenticity has several authenticity too. So
yes, several layers, like rickets.
Several kinds.
Yeah.
Ricketts grain on the
indigo.
Indiana Bloomsburg.
Yes. He makes the wonderful things, and he grows his own indigo on his own farm and dyes what he can make from the indigo he grows. And he built a building to let it compost and does it the traditional Japanese way. That's just fascinating.
Yeah, I want to visit them one day.
I bought a mask.
Oh.
I bought a mask out of the fabric that his wife, or that he dyed. So I got one for my aunt in Hawaii too, because she's the one that taught me to do the dyeing.
Good. It's awesome. I think he studied in Japan, right? He studied in Japan.
Yes, he was there for several years.
And he married a Japanese, so he knows how difficult. No, I shouldn't say that. I'm sorry, nothing. That's it's a bad joke.
Well, it's really interesting because he grows it all, and he doesn't like throw anything away. At the end of the process, he puts it all back on his ground. So he's very concerned with how safe even the waste products are and what to do to make it so that he can either put it in the compost heap or pour it into the ground and still have things grow. And it's a very healthy, wonderful way to look at it. Yeah.
Yep. So it's really kind of natural for the Japanese. I mean, not the contemporary Japanese, but the Japanese people who lived in the Edo period. The whole kind of circulation, we probably call it sustainability right now, but the circulation was very natural for us.
Yes.
Not right now. Now is very bad, but that's how the Japanese people really didn't burn the fabric neither. Of course, burning itself was not a bad idea, but also they put it in the ground. Oh, there was a question. I'm sorry. I am practicing the technique you suggest. It makes the stitching faster for sure, but I stick myself with the sharp point a lot. Is that part of the learning curve? Stitching your probably the fingers that you do not have the needle. You're probably stitching or kind of stabbing the fingers that you don't have the needles on. Learning curve, yes. At the same time, probably you're trying to stitch too much. So if it keeps happening, it'd be great if you could take the online class so I can give you the personal attention and you can. There's a not a way, but it could be a learning curve, or it could be something that you do specifically that it's happening. It's painful. So, I mean, I've done that so many times, but it's really painful to stitch with this needle. So be careful and take care. Please take care of your hands. Have you done that, Sharon? Have you ever stitched, a stitch, poke?
Yes, I have done both. I have poked, and every once in a while I'll be like, oh shoot, that little bit of skin is now on the needle. You just barely get through. It's like, oh, back up. But mostly I was just watching, and there's a rhythm to moving your fingers back out of the way because they need to be close enough to guide the fabric, but they also have to be pulled out of the way. And my guess is that, yes, while you're developing that rhythm, you might poke yourself. I haven't very much for a while. That's good.
Yes, and when we are in the rhythm, the poking doesn't really happen much unless you're completely losing yourself by watching some, really nice TV. Again, when I was watching the first season of The Walking Dead, it was shocking. I didn't have to use my brain, but it was shocking that, zombies moves was pretty scary. So my finger was all covered by my blood because I kept poking my fingers. I poked the bottom finger on the left side. Thank you. I would like to take your online class. Yeah, that'd be great. If you take my online class, I will see you stitching online. So I will exactly tell you what is the, point that I can kind of right now I have to only guess, but in the online class I will set up the time to check your stitching for everybody. So I can give you the how can I say, personalized advice for that. But poking the left hand can happen. Of course, it can happen, but shouldn't happen so often. I hope it doesn't bleed much though. These needles are very sharp, right? You know what's the worst case? So as the Sashiko business, the worst thing you can do is to leave the needle in the fabric because you sell. So we have insane amount of insurance for that. Also, we had a metal detector everywhere. We had a metal detector.
It didn't even occur to me that you could do that, but yes, that would be terrible.
So those, it's not even hand one. Of course, we had a hand one too, but we had also those. How can I say? The ground metal finding detector cost $1,000, something like that. We had that too. Yet we lose sometimes needle. We have we had 40 artisans or something, so we had sometimes lose the needle. The worst thing that could happen is to step on it when it's standing up like this.
Yeah.
So I once stitched through my foot. It went through.
Oh,
that was bad. Well, I was a child, but another reason to hate Sashiko in my childhood. But Yeah, needles are very sharp, and there's a reason for that. But I hope nobody will get not the damage. How can I say? The injured. God, it's taking longer than I thought. I thought I could finish within the 1 hour. Oopsie.
Sometimes you get excited and use your hands to talk.
Yep, that's what I'm doing now. It's excused, but it's good that I can stitch. I mean, it is my. Oh, so I forgot to mention this. So this live session, not a live session, I'm sorry, this Sashiko Talk live streaming, I want to make it as a place where people gather and stitch together. So if you can, please bring your Sashiko project. It doesn't have to be Sashiko, but something to stitch or something to work with your hands. And, of course, it'd be great to comment, but at the same time, it'd be great if you could keep stitching as if this is the kind of radio or something like that. There's not that much going on the video. It's just me stitching and nothing big happening. So it would be great if we can create a space every 2 weeks that we can stitch and talk together. If you are on the Patreon membership, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being that. You will get a link to join this live session, not a live session. I keep Sashiko Talk. So if you'd like to ask the question verbally while stitching, please let me know that. There's a link usually. But yeah, it's kind of nice to have those regular, how can I say, routine. There we go. That's the word.
Yeah.
Because
I found this tail, but it's not from my stitching. It's from somebody put initials on the towel and left the tail. I'm going to cut it off.
Is it the Japanese vintage fabric or?
I don't think so. I think it's from Lithuania.
Interesting.
So mixing it all up.
It's kind of scary. Like sometimes when you get the vintage fabric, we sometimes find the name on the fabric.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of scary to me. It's too.
It says LW.
LOW?
LW, yes.
LW. Wow, somebody's
Yep.
initial. That's kind of too personal to look at. So I try to usually pass it down to somebody else, but that's a little too scary for me. I was gonna work on the denim today. I brought it. I brought the denim to work, but I cannot probably do it today. So I'll finish this one first. I gotta wear this one to the Florida. How to find my online class. Please go to the upcyclestitches.com. It's upcycle stitches in one word and .com. There's the website with little. Well, I'll type it up. Just a second. Then, if you go to the shop, you can. Just a second, okay. This is the website of our the online workshop. There we go. I found it. Just a second. Copy. Thank you so much for your interest.
So you're gonna patch the jeans, or are you decorating the jeans?
I'm just stitching like this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting a little thicker, so I have to. The denim I have right now is not really fitting. It's the COVID things that many people.
Yeah, me too.
It's like it's not a freshman 20, it's like COVID 15 or something like that.
I'm hoping that it will start going away as the weather improves and we can be outside more.
Yeah. It was a very difficult year. Well, everybody was difficult. I mean, it was difficult for everybody, but stress is the, very good trigger to keep eating.
Yep.
And American chips is so great. The chips in the US is so good.
Yeah, chips and shortbread cookies and scones. I learned how to make all those, well, not the chips. I learned how to make scones and shortbread cookies at home. And that's how my COVID, however many, happened.
It sounds super good and super scary. Wow. Yeah. Like, eating, stitching, that's what we did.
Well, when you're stitching, you can't actually be eating at the same moment. So that's a good thing.
You think, right?
Yeah, your hands get messy. Best not to eat.
Learn how to use chopsticks, Sharon.
Oh, that's funny.
I can show you how to eat chips while you do Sashiko.
You use chopsticks?
Yeah, look.
So you don't get your fingers messy. Oh, that's
so
funny.
You put the needles on the needle rest, right? Like this.
Mm-hmm.
Then use the chopsticks and then put some chips in your mouth and change.
I'm culturally protected by my lack of ability to use chopsticks. Oh, that's good.
So, some people think that I'm very serious in Sashiko, and I am serious in Sashiko, but the reason I really don't want to share everything is that, you don't want to see me watching the...
Watching The Walking Dead and eating chips with your chopsticks while you stitch.
No, I wasn't even watching The Walking Dead that time. It was really recent. Well, it's probably okay to say, but I was watching The Hoarders.
My
Netflix,
aunt and uncle like that show. Yes.
To feel a little bit good about my house while eating chips. So like, wow, I should have cleaned this house, but I don't want to clean, so I want to stitch and I want to eat. And
so, are you going to wear those jeans for the workshop?
If possible, yes.
But it looks like pretty new denim, so that is hard.
No, it's pretty soft. It's almost
Good.
done, so it's really almost done. So I just have to finish this,
just a little bit.
Where I give it. It's really obvious that where I gave up. I did it this much, then I gave this. Like I gave up. I should have completed, but nah. Thanks. That's a great tip on eating chips. Yes, use the chopsticks. And the chips, the oil from the chips and needles are very, very, very bad idea. But using the chopsticks will. And you can you can drink anything while doing sashiko. So the chopsticks is the key.
When I lived in the Netherlands, it was interesting because they think it's rude to eat anything with your fingers. So if they had a sandwich at lunch, I don't know what they do at home, but at lunch is in a business setting, you don't pick your food up with your hands. So if they had a sandwich, they would use a knife and fork and cut it into little bites and eat it. They could peel an orange with a knife and fork without touching it. I've never seen such dexterity.
Wow. So it is rude to use hand?
Use your fingers, yes. I was rude. I was American. I did not have those skills. So I just ate the way I was used to.
That is really interesting culture.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting? I think like if you're out on the street, you can get French fries. They come in a cone and they have mayonnaise on them. That's what they eat them with.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can eat it with your fingers. But I guess it's in a business setting, you don't do that.
Wow. And it's Netherlands.
Mm-hmm.
Not like I don't want to generalize it, but not in the France or not in the
I didn't ever notice it in France.
wow. It's so interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, because there you would have bread. You would eat it with your fingers. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, the
Just
culture
different.
change.
Yeah.
I married to the sort of Russian person. She was born in the USSR and very uptight for that matter. In Japan, it is polite to make a sound when you slurp the noodle. The louder, the better.
Yes. Oh, yes. I remember the first time we went there and we got such a kick out of it. It was like, can you imagine saying to your child, make more noise while you eat?
Yep. That's louder the better. And, it's pretty big no. Probably big no in the US too, but
yeah.
it was very big no in her culture. So
you had to find a compromise.
I don't. I burn my lips to eat if I have to, but in my house I don't really. She has to adjust. But if I have to visit her family, no. But yeah, that culture is very interesting. How it's really interesting how we become so different.
Yeah. I had my first child. He was born in the Netherlands and then we moved to France. And it was only like a 3 or 4 hour drive, but they had completely different rules about what you did with babies and when you gave them this and when you gave them that, what shots. And I was in so much trouble when we moved to France and I had this 2-month-old because he wasn't doing all these things. And I was like, this is ridiculous. They're completely different. And the US has completely different ways. And it just convinced me, it's like, okay, as long as the baby's okay and I'm happy, it's good. But yeah, it's shocking how different cultures can be even close to each other. And if they're far apart, they can be crazy different.
Yeah. It's so like who made that boundaries? Like that's something it's a good boundaries. I don't like boundaries, but at the same time, cultural boundaries are very interesting and respected. I just wonder very much how they are kind of, how do you say, like developed, I guess?
Yeah.
Cultivated. There's a comment. If they are trying not to be primitive, hashi, chopsticks, are ultimate of sophistication. Yeah, I agree. I'm very much big fan of chopsticks. But I wouldn't eat probably sandwich with chopsticks, but they do
or a hamburger. Wouldn't that be hard?
Yeah, it's probably difficult. Or pizza. Pizza. I may use chopsticks because it's a little slippery. That's also another thing about Japanese culture. We use chopsticks when we send somebody dead to the, another world. We pass the bone after cremation. After cremation, we use these chopsticks to pass those bones each other to the pot for the bone.
Oh, the urn, yeah. Oh, I didn't know that.
That's why it's a huge, big taboo to pass food from chopsticks to chopsticks. So let's say if I have a chips,
because it's like you do with a dead person.
Yes, it's associated with the death. So you cannot point people with chopsticks, which I see a lot in the movies. In non-Japanese movie, many people do it, but it's kind of taboo. To do. Not taboo, like really not recommended. So it's very interesting, and not many many Japanese people should know about it, but it's also kind of old-fashioned.
No,
we do it, but Until we do it, we don't know. Not many people go to funeral every week or every month. So until it gets really old. Like I learned that when I was like high school or something, when I had to go to the funeral for the first time.
Okay, it's not something that you would talk to kids about.
No, not without actual practice. So I get very much scolded by not like don't do it, but I didn't really know why I couldn't do it.
Right.
Then later I learned why I cannot do it. So it's very interesting to see the difference. And I'm learning English, not English, American culture one by one. It's so difficult.
Well, your daughter's in school. Have you ever had a time where she thought you were doing something you shouldn't because she's seeing different things at school?
Come again? I'm sorry. My daughter, what was that? Sorry. What was your question? I'm sorry.
Well, she's young, but teenagers often think their parents are doing something they shouldn't. But I just wondered if it would be interesting to hear if she ever thinks there's some cultural thing that she's picked up at school and she thinks you don't do it right.
Besides my English?
I don't know.
Well, she corrected my English now. Daddy,
she does. Yeah, okay.
Daddy, that's not right. That's white. That's not, you're not saying white. Like I'm saying white. What is the difference? No, Daddy, it's white. Sorry, I don't understand the difference. Then she sighs and
I tried to do there's a program that will teach you languages, and I tried to do Spanish, and I got to a certain point and they wanted me to say the R's a certain way, and I couldn't. And so it would not let me go on to the next thing because I kept failing the verbal part and I couldn't. To me, it sounded exactly like what they were doing, but not to them.
I don't. It's not my intention to bring one specific brand, but isn't that Rosetta Stone?
Yes.
I had exactly the same problem with my Russian.
I was like, okay, I can't learn that then.
Was it Hebrew or Russian? I was talking to the computer how to pronounce bread for 2 hours.
Yeah.
My wife said, just give up. And I don't want to hear bread for 2 hours talking. I'm working.
I guess if it worked for you, you must have a really good accent.
After 2 hours?
No, I mean, if you can get the program to continue. I couldn't.
I didn't. I gave up. I mean, we lived in a very small apartment.
And she was having to listen to all of it.
2 hours of somebody saying the word bread for like a few hours that she doesn't want to even listen. I can be pretty persistent, so she couldn't be persistent. Yeah, that's English language, so difficult. But that's a very important factor to understand the culture. So please, let's not give up. God, I cannot believe it has been 1 hour already. Oh my. Sashiko, only things I'm okay with, but I don't like about Sashiko is that it eats time.
Well,
time flies.
It flies, but that's because it's enjoyable.
Yeah, but then I sleep less and I become kind of, well, that's my problem.
It does get late where you are if we work too long.
Like, one more line, one more stitch, one more thread.
Yeah.
Well, I'll go to sleep after this much thread. It's like a Minecraft.
It's like a video game.
It's like a video game, like Minecraft.
Oh, funny.
Many people ask me, like, what is so fun about just stitching? And I sometimes answer, I don't know. But we can ask the same question. What is so fun about clicking those buttons in the game? It's kind of similar thing.
Yeah, but at the end you have something when you stitch. I
Well,
don't know what you have with the Minecraft.
you have a big castle or something.
You have a castle.
Well, I love Minecraft. In fact, I want to do Minecraft with Sashiko stitching, but I can't.
They both think you have to do verbal Minecraft. So you can talk to it.
My daughter does the verbal Minecraft.
Oh yeah? You suggest things and she does it for you?
No, she said like, Daddy, do this before while I go to.
Look, you are the hands for her verbal Minecraft.
Yes.
That's the wrong direction.
Daddy, I'm gonna go to get some candies, so please make this one for me before I come back. Wow. Her name is Leona. Leo, wow, you're becoming such a,
She knows you love her. That's why you do these things.
I don't know if 6 years old. Like my understanding of 6 years old is kind of different from the 6 years old in today's society. I didn't have any. There was no. I had a game, but no tablet, no cell phone. Was TV and game. Now they have pretty much everything, especially after COVID. Everybody has to have it.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they're thinking. My daughter is. Just a second. I'm sorry. Again. Sorry about that. I think stitching puts my mind into a state that like flow or meditation. Yes. That's very, very, very correct. And not correct, very true. I like meditation, and I didn't have the specific teacher for the meditation. And one day I wanted to learn something very, how can I say, organized or structured. And I joined the Vipassana meditation. It's like 10 days meditation with no talking.
Oh. A retreat?
Kind of retreat, yes. Kind of retreat. Ooh. And I did it before becoming a father. I cannot go now. My wife is going.
For 10 days? Oh, no.
It's the biggest leisure I can think of. But it was pretty good. I mean, in the meditation, the goal is to not to really think. You focus on one thing and then realize, be mindful. Those are kind of like a technique, if there is any technique in meditation that's focusing on one thing so you can be in the flow, as Caroline said. So Sashiko is really one way to trigger that state of mind, especially when you don't care about the result. I mean, we care about the result, but not every single stitch. It is impossible to care each stitches when you have to stitch thousands of stitches. Have you ever counted? Sorry, it's completely another topic. Have you ever counted how many stitches you have done so far?
No. Have you tried?
Well,
I don't even know how many hours I've stitched or. Yeah. Well, I told you when I made one shirt, my aunt looked at it and said, do you have an obsessive compulsive problem?
Yep. We might. I mean,
I don't know. I was like, well, it took a while. That shirt took a month. It had a lot of stitches. They were all right next to each other.
It's not 100 million, but maybe more than 10 million stitches. We kind of calculated how much we can stitch in 1 hour, and how many hours we may have stitched for how many hours. Well, it was in Japanese gathering like this, and
Mhm.
we were kind of bored. Although we were stitching, we get bored. That's also weird to say, but we kind of stood calculating. It's not 100 million. 100 million. No, like 100 million is one big number for Japanese, so it was not that significant. But somewhere between 10 million to 9.
Well, you do way more than a stitch a second.
Uh, about, yes, 34.
2 or 3, maybe a second.
No, not that fast.
No?
I did a speed run and that was like 40 or 50 per 30 seconds
Okay.
without considering those in between times.
Right.
So with
Some in
considering,
between times are short, but some are long when you have to get reoriented and move. Yeah.
so it's probably one stitch per 2 seconds is sort of realistic, probably more. So I think we calculated 20 per minutes, and then we kind of calculated how many years. It was a stupid thing.
I don't know. There are times you put 20 stitches on one needle.
Yeah, but it takes some time. So the needle can carry up to 60. That's what I've confirmed.
Mhm.
So more than 60 might be well, it can, but it's still too difficult.
And it has to be just the right fabric.
Yep. Well, I mean, if you use the wasai, different kind of bunshin, you can probably do forever.
Mhm.
But then you may not be able to make little layered fabric.
Mhm.
So it's just a difference. 2 hour and 20 minutes, hour and a half for the fabric that I'm doing right now.
Mhm. So will they complete one of those at the workshop or just start it?
This
How
one
many hours is your instruction?
for this time, this is the first time in the 3 days.
Oh, they should be good by the end of that.
Probably. I'm pretty confident that it will be good.
That's great.
And I will cover pretty much everything that I usually do not cover, like
Mhm.
mending or
Mm.
pretty much something that I would cover for the Japan trip.
Mhm.
With-
So you will provide some materials, and do they bring a project to work on too? Like if they have jeans they want to fix, or
Yeah. I recommend them to bring it as well, but they don't
that's a
have
great
to.
opportunity.
It is. Yeah, I think it's a very good opportunity. I don't have to be in rush, so it's gonna be kind of quiet, slow.
Do you know how many people are going to be in it?
As long as I know 10 people gonna be there.
Oh, that's reasonable.
Yeah, I cannot do more than 12. 12 is besides the quilt con where I can get a very significant support.
Mm-hmm.
Usually the maximum I can handle by myself is the 12.
Mm-hmm.
So even 6, it used to be 6 or 5.
Well, I'm sure that's more comfortable for you.
Yeah. I mean, but shorter though. It was like 3 hours and 6 people.
Right.
Now
right.
6 hours minimum. Wow, 6
Mhm.
hours minimum sounds kind of crazy, but that's the time they need. I need.
Yeah. To talk to all of them.
To
check on them.
Some people really feel uncomfortable in this rhythm for the first 20 minutes, first 2 hours, they feel kind of very, very uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Can be agonizing. It's so bad.
Yeah,
so bad.
it feels strange, but if you just ignore that, pretty soon it doesn't.
Well, you have to release the handle, but
Practice.
that's the most difficult thing.
Yeah.
And especially if they have a good amount of experience.
I think that's when it's harder.
It is.
Well, it is and it isn't. It feels worse right at the beginning, but your body learns the new thing quicker than if you've never done any sewing. Then it doesn't, then it just feels awkward because you haven't sewn. But I don't think you recognize the rhythm and the feel as quickly either. So
my experience, it's okay. Either they have any sewing experience, like quilting or embroidery, or even like no experience is also good. I'm okay with that. But probably only kind of difficult. The only fact that may make it difficult is some other people's workshop about Sashiko may. They have like
especially if it's been taught rather rigidly.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I don't have it anymore that often, but I used to have those people who kind of not challenge me, but they really think that there should be rule.
Well, and when I would talk to people, I didn't ever take a Sashiko class, but when I would talk to people who taught them, they were like, oh, you can't cross and you have to do this and you have to do that. I'm like, no, I don't really have to. I could see where you might want to make that choice sometimes, but not so much. Other times not.
The answer is you can. You don't have to.
Right.
So there's a lot of missing stitches. So like if they have those, pre-installed correct answers, then they might work against as like a mental barriers.
Right, because they're worrying too much about the stitches to find the rhythm, kind of. You have a bigger barrier.
Yes. Plus the perfectionism that I also suffer from. That's perfectionism is the one thing that I would so not good for the learning. Well, I mean, it's good to have after all, but in the learning curve, it may be a little bit of trouble. It's completed. Today's goal. Phew. Last time I couldn't finish it, so I went over time. But I finished that, furoshiki.
Yeah.
And this time I should have done a little bit better. I didn't plan well this time. I jumped a lot. It's okay. I'll cover the other side. So it's okay. It's okay. I'm okay. Everything's okay. Okay, let me do a little bit. Are you okay, Sharon? A little bit longer? 10 more minutes or so?
Yeah, I'm fine.
All right.
Gonna work on your jeans some?
Yeah, a little bit, and then I'll finish.
Your sample there doesn't have much edge of unsewn fabric.
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
You mean
right
edge?
It's right to the edge.
Yes. That's how it's supposed to.
Okay.
Nah, I don't know. I wasn't thinking. It's gonna be some of those pink. Okay, let's do the what was I doing?
Well, that's fun. You have one very free-flowing leg and one very traditional leg.
Yep. I didn't have any plans, so it's very bad actually for this. Not a bad, but it's some part I didn't jump. One part I jumped. It means like I got tired. It's not even a plan. I just either got tired or not. But I have to be careful when I do asanoha.
I think if it's from me, I definitely jump.
I started without jumping.
That makes it so much more work.
But have you ever worn some of the denim with the jumping?
Yes, but I have socks on when I put them on, so it's not a problem.
Yep. I usually do the same thing, but the Natsuki, the denim professional Natsuki did a really good job without jumping.
Oh, so you're gonna live up to it now.
I wanted to compete, but I gave up. I gave up at some point. It's Sharon, you too. I often feel jealous that you're getting so good and you're stitching so well. Same to Nana, same to Natsuki, many other, people I share with Sashiko are doing such a great work. And I'm so happy. Don't get me wrong. I'm very happy.
Well, of your teaching, that's all.
But Nana Sashiko is like one thing. Yeah. She's going another level. You'll see her in Japan probably.
No, which one?
Nana.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah. I see her things on Instagram. Very nice.
She's doing the 26 patterns right now.
Mm-hmm.
Probably she's gonna show it later on. But
are they all the big furoshikis with the 26 patterns?
What do you think?
Yes.
That's insane. Like, that's insane.
It's a good goal, but I don't think I will do it because I think some of the patterns I wouldn't enjoy stitching.
I don't, because she didn't jump. Any of the patterns she didn't jump.
Oh, so they're all beautiful. That's amazing. She's really something. I'm impressed.
I don't think I can do that.
I don't think I want to do it.
Well,
I like the way the backs look. Some people like these bags. Some people line them so you can't see the stitches. I'm like, I like the stitches. It's interesting. It shows you how it was made. It's fun.
Yeah.
And the jumps. It's okay.
It's okay. It's perfectly fine.
I can do it. I did do the furoshiki with no jumps. It was, no knots, no jumps.
It's doable.
Yeah, it's doable.
It's just either we won't. Well, probably not. Some of the patterns those patterns I keep touching.
You'd be spending more time working ends in than you would be stitching.
Yep. Well, I mean, that's the artisan's thing. I'm not the artisans for that matter, I guess.
Well, where is she going to display them? It will be wonderful to see.
We gotta ask her when she show it.
Yeah.
Where probably she said it's gonna be like a bed cover or something.
Oh, well, or 10 bed covers.
Oh, it's not that big.
No, it's not. Okay.
I mean, I don't know how big it is. Let's wait until
it's not as big as the one we just made.
You made? Oh, well,
as big as the furoshiki.
Probably bigger than that.
Each pattern?
No. Each pattern is much smaller.
Oh, okay. I thought she was doing something that big of each one. I'm like, oh my goodness, she could carpet the house.
If she does it in that speed, I have that. I have to worry about her in different way. No, it's much probably like a letter size, I guess.
Okay.
Probably.
Well, that's more reasonable. And that would be a beautiful bed covering.
When piercing, the question. Oh, sorry, I missed them. Hi from Australia. Sorry, I have had to hop in and out. Don't worry about it. I actually cannot see who is in and out, so don't worry about it. When piercing items together, like in sewing, do you need to carefully keep the loops of extra ease out of the seam? the loop, you do not have to leave the loop if you are referring the loop you're seeing today. This is kind of unnecessary if you are careful. So actually, I receive a lot of questions about the loop. I forgot about it. Yes, I have a. It's one of the very, very common question about the loop on my Sashiko stitching. The answer is you do not have to make these loops, but I do make loops to just in case. The purpose of just in case requires a little bit of explanation. So please go to my website, Upcycle Stitches, and then type Y loop. Probably you should find the article, or probably I have it in video somewhere, Y loop. The loop is not necessary, but it's good to have for specific purpose. Do you make loops, Sharon?
When I do asinoha, I make small loop, like maybe like that.
Okay.
So it's enough that the thread tension starts at the beginning of the next line, kind of,
Okay.
but it's not enough to get caught in anything.
Okay.
And I don't make it on the short one where you're changing all the time. I don't make it.
Okay. That's very. Thank
But
you.
if you, as long as you have the thread tension, right?
Yeah.
It's okay. And as long as everything's been washed, so nothing will shrink too much, you know. So yeah, I do a little bit, but not as much as you do.
Yeah, I'm just unskilled. I
No,
wish
you are more careful than I am.
No, I don't trust
sometimes
myself.
I have to take stitches out because something goes wrong. You
Oh,
probably have to do that less.
That's the worst case scenario for me. So
Yeah.
That's something I don't want to experience. Take stitches out. Oh my God, that's something I really don't want to do. Sorry, there was a Japanese comment from Shinobu-san. 7さんの刺し子素敵なんです. The comment was that this Nana's Sashiko is so beautiful, and it is beautiful. Ay. Oh, by the way, she's the one who dyed the cherry blossom Sashiko thread.
Oh,
Shinobu.
Excellent. I think I got some last time. Yeah.
I pushed her into the dyeing, how do you say that, dyeing obsession instead of
I
stitching obsession.
I tried some avocado pits, but mine were all orange. It was disappointing. I wanted pink.
You didn't go to pink?
Nope. It was peachy.
Oh.
Pinkish, but it was really orange. But I've read that it just depends on the avocados and the water, and I don't know. So well, I'll try again later.
Yeah, that is very difficult.
Yeah.
Okay, has been hour and a half. If there's any questions, please leave the comment. I may be able to answer this time, or in fact, leave the comment, leave the questions whenever you can, even after the live session, so I can probably answer that in the next live session. We will stop this live session about in 5 minutes or so. 5 minutes, yes.
I think before you stop, you should give us a good look at those jeans.
I will. Thank you. I will do that then.
Is the other leg done?
Nah, I don't know. That's how not well planned I am. I didn't start to make this pattern like this, and I don't know how it should end. So,
are you going to do the hemp leaf all the way up?
As much as I can. As much as I can. Not on the pocket, but as much as I. Well, this is the bottom, where everything meets.
Okay.
So as much as I can put my hands in, probably not in the pocket. So, plan was until here. So, just a plan though. I probably have been doing this for 2 years. No, before COVID. One thing for sure.
Jeans?
Yes. No. I bought it when I was the most. I don't want to say fattest, but I gained almost 50 pounds since I moved to the US. Wow, that's scary to say it. So I was 62 kilograms when I was in Japan, and I became 92 kilograms. So I gained 30 kilograms once, and I lost some after that. But I bought this one when I was the most at the peak.
Okay.
And then nothing fit. Nothing I brought from Japan fit. And I have a kind of social experiment that I don't buy any fabric or any clothes.
Oh.
So I was wearing only one denim that was getting so bad, and somebody gave it to me that they couldn't fit. So that's the time I started losing some weight. I didn't want to give up my social experiment because I got too much weight. That's kind of sad, right? I thought that was very sad. I'm sorry that I have to, start buying the clothes because I gained so much weight. But since I couldn't, so for that matter, this is a little bit big for me. It's a little bit loose. That's why I didn't have to stitch so in a rush.
But do your stitches a little tight, and then it won't be so big.
Does it work like that? I don't know.
Yeah, it will.
Okay.
I have seen that as a strategy to like alter shirts.
Really?
I haven't done it because but you can. If you do your stitching too tight, you'll just make it smaller.
That is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but it's too late, isn't it?
Probably. but isn't it mostly just, it wouldn't matter if the legs were too big, just up at the
here
around the waist. Yeah. I don't know.
I don't mind gaining a little more weight though.
Oh.
I'm just kidding.
Chips.
More chips, more cakes.
Yeah, scones.
Okay, I will show my denim then. Just a second. Okay, just this. Oh, this is as far as it goes. Okay, oops.
So what is the white right under your left hand there? Was that on the jeans to begin with?
This one?
Yeah.
Oh, this one was the original logo or something.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't stitch this one. This was something already there.
Mm-hmm.
I wish they weren't, but it's really difficult to stitch around.
Is it like sewn on, or is it painted on?
It's like
a patch,
like heat patch, I think.
Oh yeah.
It's like
to sew them. Yeah.
Kind of nylon-ish. I mean, I love this brand. It's a really good brand.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, the camera cannot go higher than this, so I'll just show you like this. So the right side is just, I have to finish this much, but pretty much all the asanoha from the top to the bottom.
Uh-huh.
The back side is also the, it's kind of boring for that matter. It's the same look.
Yeah, it's good. It already has that fancy thing, so it's probably good that one's a little bit less intricate.
But there's one theme though. The reason I picked this asanoha on this denim is that there was a hole here.
Oh.
And this is the center of asanoha is here.
Uh-huh.
And this was the start. And everything else was kind of aligned to this. And the other side is this. I don't know how I started this, but this is kind of, I wouldn't say inspired, but more like based on the yin and yang.
Yeah, I can see it in the next one to it.
So
yeah.
I stood kind of drawing and I kind of lost myself somewhere. So it's nice. It's okay. I don't know how it's gonna look. It's like a tattoo. Like, we cannot do a lot of tattoos, so we stitch as we want in the
Does that continue on the back of that leg too?
This is the back of the leg.
That is the back. Okay.
So I don't know what's gonna do in the front yet.
And what color is that thread? Is it gray or purple or?
So we have that. I don't have it right now, but we have a collection of the pastel color. It's quite chemical dye, but the pastel color collection.
Okay.
Some people really don't like it, but I wanted to try. I like it. It's pretty good color, and I wanted to see how it's gonna look on the denim. It's
So is that several different colors then?
Yes.
From that pastel? Oh, okay.
5. It's the bluish, pinkish, yellowish.
And you did white on the other leg?
The other leg? This one is white, just white. Yeah, this white.
Oh, that's fun. So you show lots of possibilities on one pair of jeans.
Yes, more like a marketing tool. This is the thread I sell. This is the thread I sell. But I really like to use the natural dye on the denim.
Me too. Yeah.
But I'm a little bit scared of washing it so often.
Well, I think worst case you just end up with cream.
That I really am scared of. I shouldn't be, but you know.
Yeah. Well, but don't denim snobs avoid washing their jeans anyway?
So yes, so I really shouldn't worry about it, but I have a that's something that my artisans told me that I shouldn't be doing. That's why it's a mental barrier that I shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
But it's a very good idea to do it too.
Well, I have done like those little kids toddler denim with naturally dyed, and I know they're going to end up pretty close to white if they wash them a lot. But that's okay.
Yeah, it's good.
I like the way it looks with the color. I think it'll look okay with white too.
That's good.
Maybe the kid won't get it dirty.
Yeah, I want to see how it's gonna go. Actually, I should probably try next time. Yeah, I should try.
Well, because this will change too anyway if the denim fades, right?
Yes. The color changes no matter what. Even chemical color changes. Natural dye changes not even easier. It changes with the
fabric. Yeah.
Let me put this way. I think this denim is not really gonna change the color that often.
Oh, okay.
If it's Levi's, probably I don't mind stitching with the. It's really already. How can I explain that?
Is it already faded?
Maybe, and I really don't see the color would change so much. I don't know. I felt comfortable using the chemical pastel color on this, but I will probably feel comfortable using. Well, I use the not a chemical. I use some natural dye on this borrow somewhere, which I wash pretty much every day.
Oh,
no, it's
so
always.
Is the color leaving?
Oh, its color is gone. It's completely gone. I mean,
it's still interesting.
If you know our natural dye color stays quite well, but if you wash it 50 times with the detergent,
right,
which might have some bleach in it,
right,
but this is so stinky sometimes, you know. It's always around my neck. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for joining us. If you have any questions, please leave the comments in the comment section so I can answer probably next time. I share some of the links in the live session, not a live session. This is the third time today. This in the Sashiko Talk. I will list that on the description area. Anything else? I'm sorry, it's Sunday night, so I'm getting kind of sleepy. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in 2 weeks. Thank you so much for Sharon. Thank you so much, Sharon, for joining as well.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you very much for the Melissa as well. Oh, Melissa is gone. All right, thank you. I will see you in 2 weeks. Bye-bye. Thank you so much.
All right. It was